and you to doubt El Dandy.
This is Robbie Eagles.
This is the loosest in Australian wrestling, Adam Brooks.
Hi, this is Mimic. This is 5-time the world's heavyweight champion, the Scrap Daddy himself, Scrap Iron Adam Pearce.
This is Brian Alvarez, and you are listening to Wrestle Radio Australia.
Welcome to the show, folks. My name is Josh Armour, and thanks very much for downloading Wrestle Radio Australia. This is our first episode.
Oh, yeah! G'day, this is Big Brady Marshall.
This is Brian Alvarez.
This is Dean Brady of the Millennials.
This is the Jurassic Punk Sid Parker.
How many of you guys have heard the term kayfabe?
Hello, doggers. This is Jay Hunter from OSW Review.
This is Matt Grim Basso.
This is the loosest in Australian wrestling, Adam Brooks.
This is Scrap Iron Adam Pearce, and you are locked in
to Wrestle Radio Australia.
I in the game, I'm champion, I'm Triple H. Undertaker, I'm your maker, buried the brother like Kane. Ooh, 1-3, hit the tombstone, hit the choke slam on face. Ooh, yeah, like a macho heel, tell like country muscle. If you suffer like tomatoes, I'ma keep a couple models. Ooh, and you may call me HBK. When I'm tuning up the vein, you best be getting in my way. Ooh, yeah, I'm degenerate, I love it, yes, I love it. If you ain't down with that, then I got two words for you, suck it. Too sweet, put your fangs up. Too sweet, holding up the tub. Let's be busy 23, got me feeling way too sweet.
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is as people does, that's all there is to it. Put a square peg in a round hole, just never seems to fit. And you can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Welcome everyone to your longest running Australian wrestling podcast, Wrestle Radio Australia. I am your host, Todd Eastman. That's right, Lachlan is not here tonight. Lachlan and Jeff are both winging their way over to Perth this weekend because it is probably the biggest weekend in professional wrestling in Australia this weekend. We've got the Elimination Chamber. We've got the EPW Australian Super Show. We've got the PWA's got a show on there. Dude With My Ring's got a show over there. We've got two shows over there during the weekend. But I thought because we are an Australian wrestling podcast, we should talk to one of the Australian wrestling shows that are happening this weekend, and that is the EPW Super Show. And to join me to talk about that is none other than a two-time former EPW heavyweight champion, a two-time former EPW tag team champion, an EPW hardcore champion, Bobby Marshall. Mate, how are you? Thank you very much for joining us, mate.
No worries. Thank you for having us. And yeah, welcome. So you're not in Perth this weekend? You're over, aren't you?
Somebody had to stay home and switch the buttons. So
no good.
Tell me
missing
about
out. It's gone wrestle crazy over here at the moment. It's just brilliant. You know, you never thought I'd see anything like it in Australia, let alone in bloody Perth.
Mate, you like Jeff keeps sending me stuff that they're doing, that they've lined up media-wise for us, and I'm like, thanks guys. Sons of bitches.
yeah.
We're like, oh, we're talking to this guy. Can you do questions for us? We're talking to this guy.
Yeah.
Can you do? I'm like, dude.
yeah.
But you know, it is what it is. There's not much I can do about it, unfortunately. So it must be. How are you feeling? Because the nerves have got to start to be building up now. It's like Wednesday. We've got 2 more days to your show going on.
Yeah.
How are the nerves going into it?
Oh, look, I feel great. You know, like I'm excited. I'm not wrestling on it, so all I have to do is set the ring up, and you know, that's kind of it. Really, get a production run sheet out and try to hit some of those deadlines is the hard part. Because my kids, they're not super. They don't really appreciate a good deadline. So anyway, but yeah, no, you know, I'm just enjoying the ride. You know, I'm really excited for the weekend, and I'm pumped for Friday. I think it's going to be an awesome show in ring. Saturday, obviously, is really exciting. I hope we see a few people and just, you know, get some contracts out of the weekend. You know, I mean, I'm excited to have a few beers with the guys from over east. You know, like this kind of weekend doesn't happen ever. You know, you get all this great Aussie wrestling community in one place in one time. It's just awesome. You know, so I'm really excited for the whole shebang.
Yeah, not since Melbourne a few years ago, and even then, it didn't really feel like I feel like Australian wrestling has sort of got their shit together over the last, like in terms of like organizing stuff to happen, Like I remember the last time it was like, MCW were going to have a show, and then Wrestle Rock will have a show the next day, but it wasn't really anything that was really massively built up like this has been. Before we get into all of that, mate, let's talk about you. Because I was thinking about this before, like during the day, when you guys started like 2.5 Wrestlers with Dan and Jesse, did you have any idea that Jesse would blossom into kind of what he's become now?
Oh man, like and wait for the next couple of years, man. I'm a huge mark for him. I love him. I really do. I genuinely love him. Like I just think he's brilliant. And I could see that my path was sort of doing this, and his path was doing that, and I went, well, I'll jump on that wagon. I'll get on the ground floor. Dan beat me to it. Dan got there early, and then I just sort of jumped on as well. And for me, it's all about a bit of fun now, community, and all the rest of it. And so it's fun. It's fun for me, and I love teaming with Dan. It's all good fun, So, but yeah, Jesse, he's a weapon. He's a huge weapon. I'm a huge mark for him as a wrestler and as a person, just quietly.
I'm kind of hoping he gets signed as like Tom or Nick Mysterio.
Yeah, look, that would be brilliant, I couldn't believe that. Hey, that blow up from his little photo, because it was always a bit of an in joke, almost not an in joke, I suppose, but like joke around. EPW that he looked like Mysterio, but then when it blew up, it was just sensational. I just loved it.
How are you going to know that they were going to choose? Like they were going to choose Perth to come and do the show, and not only that, but that him and Rhea would come down to do promotional material around the weekend of your show as well. It was sort of like
that's it.
The stars aligning for you.
That's the one, and those two as well, just being such like awesome people, to just come in and not like rocks. We've had, internationals come into our locker room and section themselves off, and just too cool to interact with anyone. And they were just legends, they took heaps of photos and they had a chat, and I'm sure they could think of 1,000 places they'd rather be than listening to Jesse Lambert talk about his probably, 4-year storyline he wanted to run with the Mysterios. But they were both awesome, man. And, it was really, really cool.
Yeah. So this Friday, of course, you've got this Australian Super Show, and when you guys announced it, did you sort of expect to get hit with how many people hit you up as soon as you announced it to go, oh, I'm going to be in town, can I be on the show?
Man, honestly, they came in dribs and drabs, but yeah, we did. We got a bunch early on, and look, honestly, I didn't expect it. So when we were tossing up what to do for the weekend, obviously, because we heard pretty early on WRA were going to come here that weekend. So we went, we chased down, we sourced the venue, made sure we could get, what venues we could, because they're pretty hard to come by in Perth. We don't have a home venue as such at the moment. And then we kind of went, well, Willerton's our big venue, but it's really hard to fill. And we went, oh, God, do we just go for it? Like, really try to ride this wave and throw everything at it and see what happens. And Dale and Dan, they're the other directors in EPW. They said, yeah, let's give it a go. And then we thought, well, if we could get 3 people from interstate, and our wish list was Robbie, Eagles, Slex, and Delta. They were the 3. We thought if we can get those 3, we can call it an Australian wrestling super show. Like we thought, you got like a guy from Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide, all like elite in their own right. We've got Broderick here from Canberra. We've got Slater. We've got Marcus. We've got Mike. We're like, yeah, you could market that as a super show. No dramas. And then the messages started coming in, and they just kept coming, and they kept coming, and they kept coming. And I was caught totally off guard. I just didn't. I don't know. Like maybe I'm a bit. I'm like 40 odd now, so probably don't. I don't watch wrestling as much as I used to, so the WWE pay-per-view coming to Perth is huge, and it is massive, but it's probably not as massive to me personally as it would have been, say, 10, 15 years ago. But I just didn't, I didn't see this level of buy-in, it was, so everyone that messaged us, I was just like, fuck, yes, you're in. Yes, you're in. Yes, you're on. And then next thing you know, I'm looking at these names going, wow, how the hell are we going to put this card together? This is insane, you know. Like these names are. This is every main event scene in Australia. In we got main event guys that we don't have room for. Just about like it was really really good problem to have.
Yeah, I remember talking to someone in a locker room up here.
Yeah,
and they're like, yeah, I haven't really heard from them. I was like, what do you mean heard from? You message them. You don't think they've got 1,000 people, man? What are you, stupid?
Yeah.
But,
look,
yeah.
I mean, it's tough. Like, I get it. Like, it's a hard thing to reach out sometimes, it is, and put yourself out there. And, but yeah, look, certainly people reached out to me. Some people reached out to Dale as well. And it was tough. There must have been a list of about 60 odd names I think I had at one point in my phone. And so, yeah, it was, and good names too, But anyway, it was a challenge, but we got there, and I'm really happy with the card we put together. You could take those 8 names in the main event and probably book an entire show just using those 8 guys, and it'd probably be the best thing you'd see in Aussie wrestling. So, when you got Brooksy, Slex, Ugg, Waterman, Mike, Stormy and Tay and Kingston in one match, that's just like it's just a disgusting level of talent,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good
from top to bottom for the whole show. I mean, we'll go through it because being that the boys aren't here, I've got to try to do this on my own, this is going to be fun, folks. If anyone knows about technology, they're going to know this is going to be fun. So here we go. Oh, look at that! I worked it out.
Perfect. Well done.
Yeah, so there we go. Hit Squad and the Prayer for the EPW Tag Champs. I'll tell you what, this would be their second or first defense, the Hit Squad, and you put them in with guys who won every belt around the country, pretty much.
Yeah, and this was great because we early on, I can't remember exactly how it happened. Prayer were a little bit late to hit us up, because we weren't expecting them to be here, and we were sitting around looking at the card, and we went, man, it would be great if Prayer were here. That would just really round this out perfectly. And then boom, it's out to the universe. So then there was the message, hey, we're going to be in town. Fuck you, beauty. So yeah, stoked on this one. I mean, we were chatting off air before with the Prayer, they're elite, they're so good at what they do. And they, they're got to be close to getting a contract. You would think as close as you can kind of get with that, top echelon sort of crowd.
Yeah.
So yeah, pumped. Absolutely, yeah. So pumped to get them over here. I've seen them wrestle, plenty of times, and they're just brilliant at what they do. Eagle Zenith. This one I'm probably personally looking forward to the most. Hayden's a real inspiration for me because he's I thought we'd seen his peak. I really did. He's been around a long time, but he's really taken off in the last 6 months in particular. And Robbie's obviously a weapon. So what else needs to be said about Robbie? He's elite.
He's pretty much. You would have to say. I mean, it's a toss up between him and Buddy Matthews, the most accomplished Australian wrestlers at the moment.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. And great human as well. Like all these guys are all good people, And So I'm really, really excited that we got to get this match on here from my Perth perspective.
Am I mistaken? Is Hayden the guy that beat Cardona in World Series Wrestling as well?
Yes, that is correct. Yep. Yeah.
I thought so. Yes.
Yeah. So he did. And that was a good story too, where he was just volunteered to basically be the ring crew to be there, and then they came up and said, "Oh, we any of you guys want to wrestle tonight?" And Hayden was he's always ready. He was in shape. He was good to go. He doesn't get himself in shape for shows. He is now in shape at all times.
In shape.
He was ready, ready to get the opportunity knocked, and he came and he put himself out there, and it was brilliant. It was awesome to see, So yeah, I am really excited for this one. So yeah. Oh, Bobby Bishop.
Yes. Yeah. Bobby says hello.
Good to read your text.
Yeah. I told you I was going to do this.
Yeah.
John says hi, guys. Hello, John. How are you, my friend? So I'm going to go through these just quickly.
You're right.
Mr. Redcastle, I got my ticket, so he'll see you there
on
Friday night.
That you will. Beautiful.
Bullet Perquin has arrived in Perth this morning.
Welcome. Yep.
Already bumped into a few wrestlers at the hotel I'm staying at. That's awesome.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on with the card. Yeah, that's going to be a really, really good match because Robbie doesn't have bad
I think
matches.
so too.
That's the thing
No.
about him.
Absolutely.
And what about this one? Holy hell.
Yeah, this is sick, this one. Again, I'm a huge mark for the Untouchables, obviously, like they're just weapons and they're really highly regarded over here in Perth, obviously. Slater's now become highly regarded around the country with his online coaching. It's just so much knowledge, and again, good people. And the velocities I haven't had too much to do with in my time because they obviously spend a lot of time over east. And but what I've seen is just they're brilliant. They do cool stuff and they have good matches. So I think this would just be a baller match. I reckon. Like this is just a bit of a I say self-indulgent from a Australian wrestling standpoint. Like just get after it. Like let's see what happens.
I mean, if you've seen the matches that Velocity's had with like Aussie Open, I can see.
Oh yes, I did see one of those ones. Yes,
I can see them having that sort of a gel with the Untouchables, mainly because I know how good Slats is at just adapting to every style and being able to you know what I mean, work it out, and just the pure power
absolutely.
of I nearly said pure power of Marcus. Pure power of Marcus will be amazing to see him just throw around these little guys as well.
Yeah, well, this is what makes them so good. Again, I can't speak for I can for Marcus and Slater, where it's their ability to shine, and they always look brilliant, obviously, but they level up their opponents as well every time. So when they're wrestling elite people, it's just like it's a joy to watch. Like I love it. So this one is I'm pumped. All these matches, I'm just really excited about it.
Next we have EPW Coastal Championship, Bruno Nitro defending his title against Matt Hayter.
This, I wasn't too aware of Matt Hayter. I obviously knew his name and I'd seen bits and pieces of him. And then when the opportunity came and I started looking around, I became a massive mark for him real quick. Just like his online presence is so good, so watchable, so charismatic. And I fell in love with the guy, I really, really did. Like the way he carries himself online, the way he carries himself, in the ring. Bruno, we love, here in Perth, where we love Bruno. Like he's another one who's on the right path, and he's doesn't put a foot wrong every position we put him in. He excels. So I think this is a cool one because a lot of these other matches are guys who we already know are they're all tippy top dogs. They've had
established names.
Well and truly established. And I feel like this is a really, really good one for even the Hayter is established in Adelaide, but I think that this one could be. I mean, they're all exciting, but I'm pumped for this one.
I remember talking to Stormy a few 2 or 3 years ago, and I was like, "Who's a guy in who's a guy in 3 to 4 or 5 years that's going to be like someone who breaks out in EPW?" And he said Bruno Nitro is the kid you need to watch because he's going to come into his own in the next 2 or 3 years. And sure enough, here he is with a championship, defending it on probably one of the biggest shows in Australian wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. And he works so hard. He listens. He, again, good bloke. You want him to succeed, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
Don
the
and
RC
Delta.
Dub Grand Championship and a belt that I absolutely love. I love the design of this new title.
It's a really pretty belt. It's nice.
Yes.
It's a powerful belt. I really like it.
Michael Morleone with CJL versus Delta defending her title. First up, mate, I've got to give you props as a guy that manages wrestlers. Love to see a manager actually get a spot on a lot of these shows. A lot of the times you get big shows where they just go, "Oh, we just want the wrestler. Don't let." So that for me. Thank you.
I mean, it tells a story, doesn't it? When you got Don with CJL in his corner, it's the flyer tells a story. Delta's looking angry, and as she does, I feel like you look at that and you can see the match. You can see it unfold, and which is cool. I think that's the whole point of the flyer half the time, the match graphic, isn't it?
That's right. And I don't think anyone's had a bigger year in Australian wrestling than Delta over that past 2023. So to have her coming in 2024 is like hot as she has been, it's going to be really good seeing her against someone as good as Michael Morleone too, who isn't really like heralded across the country. Like if you've watched EPW on YouTube or you've watched like the streams that you guys have put up, you know how good the guy is, but it's not really a well-known fact how good he is.
No, absolutely not. You know, and he's really well respected and well loved here in EPW. You know, he's one of these guys. What's his bloody gimmick name? Rocky Monero is another one. You know, and Don's like what he is, I guess, over east in Perth for us, where he's your pacer.
Oh, you poor thing.
Like he's he's in ring. Just everything is meaningful, you know, and he makes sure that everything that you do is meaningful as well. Just he won't give you openings like some people, like we, and you know, we do. I've always been guilty of this. You get a bit overexcited and you try to do 4 things at once, and you know, and he just won't allow it. And so he brings out the best in himself. He brings out the best in the people he's wrestling. And this was sort of one of my real dream matchups when we started putting the card together, because from watching Delta. And knowing what Don is, I just feel like this is like the perfect matchup. I really do. So I'm excited. Again, excited for all these ones. But yeah, like this will be good. I think Delta's awesome in her own right, but I think Don can also just like bring out another level. You know, like because he's just fantastic. And like again, Monero, I feel like I do the same thing. Where
well, that's the same when you look up and down this card. Pretty much everyone on this card have that ability to get in the ring with somebody and bring out their best, or at least like work together with that person to bring out their best. So it's really you're really like spoiled for choice when it came to like putting this together.
Oh man, it was disgusting. Like I said, when we had the card, I think the first one I was chatting to Rowan and I was like, these are the names, man. Like, and I think I said, like, if I was just matching these up, like just cherry picking the best matches, not even booking a show. I was like, I've got 12 matches here. I've got 12 main events just sitting here right now. How in the hell do we condense this into one, you know, card that doesn't go for 7 hours? And anyway, we got there. Well, maybe it's probably still going to go for like 12 hours, but
the next up we have the State of Origin Challenge, Team Victoria against Team WA. You got Slex, Caveman Ugg, Adam Brooks, and Mitch Waterman, who's just returned from the UK, against David Storm, Mikey Nichols. Where are we? What's Radmaker Kingston? Thank you, and Taylor King, the EPW champion, because he changed his name. I was going to say Alex Kingston, but now it's Radmaker. Just throws me off every now and then.
That's all right.
Now, is this an elimination match, or is this a straight up 8-man tag?
Straight up 8-man tag. We toyed with elimination, but then we said no, we'll stick with the 8-man. 1-4, more dramatic. You know, like I said, we are concerned about time, and I think with 8 guys this caliber, I mean, they couldn't do it. Yeah, couldn't do an elimination in less than 40 minutes if they did it properly. You know, so you're sort of setting them up to fail in that case. So. Just disgusting levels of talent in this one, you know, absolutely insane. It's brilliant, you know, like I don't know what they're going to do, but they'll, like, you know, just good luck, right? Like,
well, I mean, you look at it, you've got Brooksy and Slex, both who were signed by Ring of Honor. If it wasn't for COVID, they probably wouldn't be here. You've got David Storm, who was he's the godfather of Australian wrestling. I don't give a shit what anyone says. That's the guy. Mikey Nichols, New Japan Pro Wrestling, NXT. He's done it all pretty much, and decided he wants to come back home to just help the home thing because he wants to be with family. That's awesome. That's just the guys that with the international experience. Not to mention Caveman Ugg, like Mitch Waterman, who just got back from the UK. You've got your current EPW champion. You've got Radmaker, who I think I know he took some time off, but that guy can go, and I really hope that he's one of those guys that is up the tippy top of EPW cards over the next year, because he's got that thing that you can't teach.
Oh man, he's a weapon. Absolutely, like he's really eye catching, and everything he's touched has always turned to gold. You know, like him and Logan Gray when they were teaming, you know, they were just incredible. You know, they're probably, I say, cursed with living in Perth, where, you know, it's not a cheap flight to fly anywhere. So, you can't. It's hard to become a bit of an interstate, like a well-known interstate, to bounce from promotion to promotion, so to speak. But I think he's someone who probably would have. Yeah,
that's probably been what's happened with the Untouchables as well. Is that the
absolutely
curse of living in Perth is just because I know for like sort of like helping to run promotions, just flights is impossible. Well, not impossible, but it's really fucking hard.
It is, it's hard. I mean,
the reason why I'm not there this weekend.
yeah. I mean, look, literally, man, and that's why this show, to me, is so like it's a unicorn. It's so unique because we have this card of all these guys, and they're here, they're in town. And it doesn't happen. You don't get this level of talent in one place to book a show. Because if you start paying for all these flights, you're broke. You're I was
going to say,
just
there's
you're
no
not making that money back.
No, you'd have to run the same arena that WWR and fill it.
Yeah,
to be
exactly right.
To be able to afford all this stuff.
Absolutely. So so we're just so fortunate, and it's great. Yeah, so I'm excited. I mean, I'm really excited for it all. And we still then there's a bloody rumble too. Yeah, with Tommy Knight, and Ricky South. I mean. Those two, they could be in the main event, but because we went for the Victoria versus WA, they kind of got, bumped down the card a bit. But they, I think in when we were first toying with the card, we had those two in the main event. It's with I don't know, I can't remember what it was now, but before we landed on the Team Vic versus Team WA, and now they're just, I shouldn't say just in a rumble, but now they're in like this rumble match, right? Like, and even Juicy being in here is just huge. You'd love to have, like, say, Juicy versus Jesse Lambert as a one-off match and just let him go, like, ideally, it was cool.
Especially since, like, Juicy's really only just come back. He's in phenomenal shape. I don't know if you saw photos.
Absolutely.
If you're seeing photos of him at the moment, he's that boy's my inspiration.
I fucking said to him, I was like, "What are you going to do, man? We can't book you anymore. You're not. You lost too much weight. Like, what's your gimmick now? I don't get it."
Yeah, you're a different type of Juicy.
yeah, that's it. You've been juiced, like. So, but anyway, like, that's the other thing. That's all. The old Marcus. They call it the 365 that he does.
Progress 365.
Progress 365. I mean, that's Hayden. Hayden's got himself in mad shape from that. As well, that was his secret. Taylor he's in awesome shape, like he's really gotten into that where he was always in, like okay shape, and then he kind of went up to that proper, starting to look like a real wrestler shape, which is obviously the hardest kind of step to take. And that's all that Progress 365 is brilliant online, the online coaching. That's a random plug, but whatever.
Well, it seems to be like it seems to be like that. That's kind of what the Untouchables gimmick is. Let's have online programs and.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's nice to see just quietly. It's always nice to see people that can, turn this thing into something more. It's what you want. Like EPW provides a platform, and then you can use it how you want. Which is nice.
Yeah, that's it. Now I've got to address like the elephant in the room, because if I don't. Online will lynch us and tell us we're soft, and I'm being paid off by somebody.
Yeah, no doubt.
There was like controversy this past weekend where people started bringing up the fact that there isn't a hell of a lot of female representation on this card, and being that it's an Australian showcase, it's not a true representation of Australian wrestling. How do you sort of answer that?
Look, to be fair, I think it's a really fair criticism. Like I can't defend it, can you? Like there is we got three women on the card now. So that's a fair comment. Like I stand by the matches that we have. We've put together some really, really strong matches. So, you can't book everyone. You can't please everyone. And hey, in 2024. It was maybe we should have prioritized it, a little more. Granted, I think for us, it's not just an Australian Super Show. It's an EPW Australian Super Show. So So what we were trying, you can see with the card, the way the card is, that we were trying to match up an EPW guy with like a kind of an Australian equivalent, or at least someone who where that makes a really cool matchup, really relevant to a Perth fan base that we can say, look, here's a guy you know really well, and here's someone who's like awesome, and kind of promote the card that way.
Yeah. That's like not like helping you defend it, but that was sort of like the first thing that came to my mind is like, well, the first part of that thing is EPW Australian Showcase.
Yeah.
Like and at the end of the day, you sort of have to look after your own company moving forward, like showing off the best of your company, the best of like the country. Like I do see where the criticism comes from, because there are people where they're like two names in particular that really stick out to me that I thought could have been on the card that aren't, and that's just Jessica Troy, Cherry Stevens. But like I get where their criticism is, but then I also get where you're coming from as well, because I think it's different, a little bit different for me, because I'm on both sides of the equation, where like I help book shows as well as like being a fan. Yeah. So like I can sort of see that, but
look, there's lots of people who I'd love to have. Moretti's nowhere to be seen. He's one of the top guys around as well. Like, you could probably go on, but look, we should have prioritized it. But at the end of the day, we don't. Our girls are coming along. They are, and they're going to be good. Like, if this show's in 12 months' time, we might have been able to, have like an EPW match, like a Delta versus someone, locally. But they're so close, and they're good. They're working so hard, and they're getting there. They really, really are.
You got like Stella Nix.
So, and we haven't put any equity into these girls on our main shows yet. So to book them randomly against a Delta, for example, is it wouldn't make any sense right now for our local fan base. You'd just be doing it to tick the diversity box, and the reality is that's an important thing. We know that now as a society, let alone a wrestling promotion, that you've got to diversify things. It's really, really important. And maybe we didn't do it, and maybe we should. But you said Jessica Troy and
Cherry Stevens.
Cherry. I didn't even know they're in town. Are they?
I don't know. I'm just saying that's the only two people that, like, off the top of my head, they're the only two people that I look at. Like, because I'm a big, like, Jessica Troy mark. I think she's one of the top 5 wrestlers in the country. She's the current like PWA champ. So that's an easy thing for me to spring to mind about it. But I don't even know if she's in Perth, to be honest with you. So like, and that was another thing that because we got asked about the question last week on the show, and I was like, well, I don't even know if they're in town.
No, that's a tough one because of flights. Like I said, we're like, you can't pay for the flights for everyone. Like, it would be
well, 3 weeks out, 3 or 4 weeks out. I think I looked at the prices and it was like $1,200 return, and I would have had to left on Tuesday and then go back on the next Tuesday. And I was like, A, I can't really spend that much time away from work. And B, who can afford the accommodation for that long just for the cheaper flight? It would negate having the cheaper flight.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, like I said, maybe if we set a goal to book the best wrestling show that we could do, we didn't consider, I don't know, picking wrestlers based on their gender, ethnicity, I don't know, like cultural background or sexual orientation. It didn't come up, and maybe it should have, I guess. Like, anyway, but it's fair whack. We'll take it on board, and I don't know, on we go, I suppose.
Yeah, but mate, it's not going to take away from the fact that, like, that show is. Oh, that was another thing I want to ask. When the hell are you guys going to get streaming? When are we going to be able to see some of this stuff live? Like, this show especially, I would have loved to have been able to sit.
Man, we've never cracked it. Like, it's just been every time we look at it, it costs more than we can realistically make. Because we run. We're ahead, aren't we, over here? I think the time difference.
You're 2 hours behind.
We're behind, so that's what I meant. So we're behind, you guys are ahead. So our show is going to start at 10 o'clock, and it's just going to be a late night, so we can't realistically bank on people over East staying up super late to watch our shows, particularly when it's hard enough to, say, draw locally against other wrestling shows that are on, let alone, hey, why don't you stay up super late, skip your local wrestling show, and watch, us. It's look, it's not on our radar. It was on our radar, and then once we crunched the numbers, we just went, we don't really have the skills to make this work for the price that we kind of need. Really, it was just dead money.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough, and it's one of those things because I ask Stormy every time I have him on, and he's like, "Oh, we're trying to work it out." I'm just
Well, that was the one. Like, we worked it out, and then it was going to cost us like a fortune, and then it was that trying to bring those costs down that just went, we can't do it. Not without doing it with like Facebook Live on an iPhone or something. Just where it becomes Bush League, and at that point you're better off just not doing it. But yeah, look, our online product needs a lot of work. It is something that's on our agenda. It's not a strength of mine personally. So just kind of make it up as I go along and generally fumble my way through it as I do with everything in life. Haven't cracked it yet.
Yeah, but I know Brendan does a great job with editing of the shows as well. So I mean, that's the one good thing. Like the shows you do produce, like they're well produced, so they're an easy watch, which is always good to see as well. Because the last one is.
Oh, sorry.
The last one's up now on YouTube. I think it is.
Yeah, it is. Reawakening. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. That was our big end of year show. So yeah, no, we've been pretty clear with Brenton when he does our edits and stuff. Like, don't rush it. There's no whatever. Like, it's just we try to focus our business on being a live pro wrestling show. That's our. We don't have enough time. There's not enough minutes in the day to do everything. We find the more we do, the poorer we tend to do everything. So we try to focus on being a training school. Obviously first, and a live pro wrestling show. So then, like, this post-production is very secondary, very much not a priority. We'll get there. It's you try to use that to sell tickets moving forward, which obviously doesn't help people from over east.
Yeah. I mean, it's more of a, like, I know at least for us up here, it's just more of an advertisement for what we are or what we've got going on up here than it is because you're not going to, I don't think our industry at the moment isn't strong enough to be able to go, look, do you want to pay $10 to watch this?
Yeah.
Just absolutely. At the moment. Hopefully, like in a couple of years, it can be like one of those things where but it's really hard when you've got something like the WWE Network, used to be the WWE Network, where you pay like $14 and get everything for you to go, how about you pay $14 to watch our one show? It's really hard.
A lot. You're not wrong, and I think there is a fair argument that you appeal to like a real strong, passionate minority of fans, So you might be able to charge your $10 or your $15, whatever it is, and you only need to attract like a handful of followers, like real diehards, and then you're okay. But we just felt realistically we couldn't even do that, not in a presentable kind of package, But MCW do it really well. Like, I like the way they do it. Where obviously, they're kind of your benchmark. For my money, you'd make don't know how you'd make an argument for anyone else being the benchmark in Australia. To be fair, but they are clearly the top promotion in Australia, and I think that's one of the things they do really, really well is that the release of the show a few days later and the watch back or whatever, like, it's a cool thing.
It is. It's because I remember watching I don't know if you've watched the documentary series on Netflix called The Wrestler or Wrestler. It was about OVW, and they were talking about because they like film all their shows and all that stuff. And they were talking about really banking on the pay-per-view to really bring in some money for them on Fight. And when they looked around at what it was, like the numbers, they're like, we're hoping to get like 600, and that'll be really good because it'll make us a little bit of money. They had like 35.
It's
what the thing, and that's OVW that's Al Snow's behind it, and it's like got a bit of a name to it. So when I look at that and I think, well, what luck do we have when in somewhere that, like, because like I know an OVW, I watched some of this stuff on YouTube, and I still didn't buy their pay-per-view. So I mean, I don't know how much luck.
Yeah. Oh, look, I certainly can't crack it. I'm sure someone probably has, and someone probably will. Some of these other promotions, like there's some pretty clever people at PWA, certainly as well, and obviously MCW, very clever, like business-minded people. I'm one of these local promoters who just loves the local scene, loves the community, loves the in-ring wrestling. That's kind of my I guess, what drives me forward, and that's why I lean on Dale and Dan so much, because Dale in particular, he's very driven by the bottom line. He wants to know, like, whereas I don't look at numbers, I just say yes to everything and get told off later. But yeah, anyway, it's I'm sure someone will crack it, and we'll all follow suit when they do. So
yeah. Is do you this show I assume is getting filmed for release as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
yes, beautiful. It will be. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so
now we'll
there we go for Pario Magazine. The fans can view the show soon after it. When it gets edited and put up for it.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see all these comments. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
so,
I know because we've just been talking, and see this is where Lachlan helps me, because I just chat away and don't really get check the site out that often.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh yes, on the Queensland wrestlers. Yep.
Yeah, well, you've got there's I know Sam Canner's on the show from Queensland, and also Seth Tyler's is on the pre-show, I believe it is. So but they're also guys like it must have been helpful, I guess, to guys that have maybe done like the EPW Super Camps as well, to be able to get onto the show, just because their names were known by you guys somewhat.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, and I mean, like they a lot of these guys too, they got recommended by people that I talk to, listen to, and obviously Slater is someone like who I mean, he's basically the head booker for EPW, and he doesn't even know it. Like he just, because I lean on him for advice all the time, like I'll message him nonstop. What should we do here? Who should I use here? What should we do with this? What do you think? Like, and when he talks, I listen, and and so obviously if you are someone who is highly regarded by Slater, well, then I'm going to listen, to that. And he did recommend a few of these guys who we'd done the camps with. And he's obviously really Slater. The thing with Slater, too, because he does a lot of the online coaching.
Yep.
So he has his, he sees all these guys. So when I had this long-ass list of names, and I'd say, well, what about this guy? He'd be like, yeah, got to have him. And I'd go, great, done. Locked in.
Cool.
And Cannon was one. Slater was really high on. He's like, got to use him. He's good, really good.
Yeah, like when you actually get to see him, you'll be surprised, because he's a large lad but moves around like a cruiserweight. It's
I saw it. No, he does. He looks great. Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
It's so annoying to watch him do it. And like, I can't do that. How the hell does he do that?
yeah. No, it's
he can do it. It's like a second turnbuckle moonsault. And I'm like, you're not supposed to do that at that size. You're just not supposed to be able to do that.
No, good on him. It's I had nothing but good raps on him. I love the guys in Queensland. Queensland was it seems to be having a real good little run up there at the moment. It's just a good little run. It sounds really condescending, but they like starting to really last few years is cool. It's all around Australia. It's really cool. Even Northern Territory. One of our guys, Brad, went up there and that top end wrestling and to see them ticking on is really cool. It's really nice to see. And
because they sort of had a false start up there, and then they've sort of kicked it off again. So it's good to see them give it another go.
It is. It's awesome. That's what happened in Perth. Where we had our guys here just kickstart it out of nowhere, and here we are still 23 years later, however long it's been. So hopefully you see the same thing as some of these other places that did have to start it up for themselves and get on with it, which is cool.
Yeah. I speaking from myself and the couple of companies that I work at, the two companies that I basically work all the time, both of us had, like, the week before at Wide Bay Pro, we had our highest ever attendance, which was awesome. And then the next week afterwards, we were at Pro League in Brisbane proper, and I think we sold out that place as well. So it really bodes well. It really goes to the fact that I think when WWE is strong, just wrestling is strong.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Because during the Attitude Era, I suppose. Because what I could recall for talking to guys that were there during the Attitude Era, there was just crowds everywhere, because they were seeing it on TV and they wanted to go and see what the live product was, and it's sort of like it fed onto itself, sort of thing. And I think we're sort of getting that now, where hopefully people are seeing like that and they go, oh shit, there's local stuff as well. Let's go and check that out.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
So it doesn't hurt when you've got people like Buddy and you've got like Rhea, especially with how well Rhea's doing. Like Rhea looks to be headlining that Elimination Chamber show, which is insane to think. Because I've known her since she was 16, and like it's insane for me to think of that 16-year-old is now going to be like main eventing a WWE pay-per-view in Australia.
She is just like otherworldly. She is like proper rock star. You know, it's awesome to see. You know, you see her on a poster and you like stop and look, and she can go in the ring. Man, she's unbelievable. Like it's just like, it's awesome. You know, like she's like that big. Got to be one of the obviously. You know, Rock operates in another stratosphere from a you know where he's like above wrestling, but like she's just got to be their biggest wrestling star right now. Like surely, like on par with
like
Reigns,
her. You know, her. She wouldn't be too far below Roman, I don't think.
Yeah,
when it comes to driving.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's cool. You know, it's just wouldn't have thought it.
No.
Yeah. So it's brilliant.
So look, mate, how are your tickets going? Is there still tickets for this thing that they can get to?
Yeah, we still tickets. We're in a big building. You know, it's one of these buildings that we're never going to be in any danger of selling out. Not that I should say that, but at least we've sold out all our front row and all our the special sort of tickets. So it's all the general admission ones left. But yeah, look, they're moving well. And in Perth, we sell all our tickets in the final sort of 3 to 4 days. We get this real big influx, and I think it's because we, rightly or wrongly, I guess, as I sit here, we don't have a sellout culture in Perth. You know, our buildings are big, and I guess unfortunately, yes, nowadays, you know, where that is exactly, we do get a lot of walk-ups, you know, whereas we just don't have that right size building where we can kind of maximize the sellout, you know, where you have to turn away like one person, but the buildings are all tiny where we'd have to turn away like 100 people, or they're massive and we're not going to sell them out. We just don't have this like
that in
exact
between
right size. We did in Claremont, and then obviously COVID came along and that went away, and now we've just been like venue hopping ever since, which, you know, we're still navigating it, but Willerton's been awesome. It's been a great find for us. It's cool.
I was going to say, you probably wouldn't have thought you were going back there so soon after Real Week.
No, because we went back there. This will be our 4th stadium show in, you know, just over 12 months, which is,
it's amazing.
Fair argument. It's ridiculous. You know, we're burning ourselves out here, you know, but it's cool because we've always struggled in Perth to like back up a big show. Like we have a big show and like usually end of year show Reawaken or whatever it is, we build to like a big cage match or whatever it is. And we might sell you 500-600 tickets, but then the next show there's this like dip, you know, and then we kind of have to build up to the next one again. So for us to go back to back with 2 like decent size, like 600 plus crowds, which was what we're looking at, then that hasn't happened in a long time, not for about 15 years. So
it's Rumbles, mate. Rumbles do it. That's why I'm I'm convinced that's why WWE do it to start their year off, because the Rumble at the start of the year. Crowds just love Rumbles. I don't know what it is, but they always sell well. Every show I've ever been on with Rumbles sells well.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's maybe right. Like they're fun. They are good fun to watch. At least, I guess I'm a bit on the fence with Rumbles, so to speak. But
I love booking them. Absolutely hate.
Yeah, right.
You can.
They can be fun. It's just hard to judge. But
I always find someone suspecting. I always find someone suspecting full in the roster and go, "Hey, would you like a chance to try and book the Rumble this year?" Yeah, okay. You come up with ideas and kick them to me, and we'll see how we go.
Actually, we did one last year, I think, and we had Marcus, Pitt, and Slater, I think, in there maybe. And I was just like, "Hey, you guys are in this match, so you can agent it by." And that was
smart.
Cool.
That's smart.
Yeah, but I didn't want to lump this one on any of the guys coming over, obviously, because there's 20 people that they may or may not know, and so. Anyway, but they're fun. They're fun to watch. They're fun to get into as well. It's just the timing can be hard of when things happen, and I find that they can be done when they're done well. They're brilliant, but when they're done poorly, man, they're hard to watch. So hopefully this is a good way.
It can be a chore when it's. I remember years ago. I think it was one of the first shows that I wasn't in that I took my wife to, and they had a Rumble in it, and just It was like the siren they made in between the thing. And by the time the 15th guy came out, my wife was just like, I'm going to kill that guy if he hits that.
yeah. Look, I mean, hopefully, I know we've always had issues before with the timing of like what's happening in the ring versus when the entrances are coming. Like it's a with the split kind of view and whatever, or someone comes in and they blow their load in 10 seconds, and then there's 50 seconds of everyone in the corners doing this. Like so they can be.
I love the ones where they come up. I love the ones when they come up to you and go, so is this a shoot 90 seconds? Or are we talking like 90 seconds? Like, well, it depends what you do in that 90 seconds, mate. If you're not doing well if you hear the countdown happen.
I was going to say, yeah, that's it. No, that's the one. But it'll be fun. But this is why we're really lucky, to have a couple of really units, in this thing, because they'll keep it flowing, they'll do their thing, and like Ricky South and Tommy, they're main event guys. They're more knowledgeable about wrestling than I am. You can see it in just the way they move and the decisions they make in the moment during their matches. So, I'm not concerned at all. It's a real luxury to have guys like that in a match like this.
Yeah,
it's just brilliant. And the
Absolutely.
characters that are in it too.
Yeah, well, yeah, you like depends what juicy you get.
Yeah,
get comedy juicy, amazing. If you get like Gambino, then that could be a bit of a problem for people.
yeah. I will say but anyway, I get my boy Jesse in there. I love everything he does, and there's some real and Hugh Beauty. I'm excited for him. He got a bit of buzz when we announced him. Tuckman is he's coming along. Like he sounds like he's in Sydney, what Bruno is for us here, where he's coming.
Very much,
cool.
in a short space of time too. Yeah,
it really has. Really has. So there's a really good batch of names in there, which I think I'm really excited to see how they go. It's just a shame. You wish you could do it longer. You wish the show could go for 6 hours. You wish you could do all kinds of things, but whatever. Hey, we don't have that.
Yeah, that's the like. Unless you have a 10-match card, which goes for 1,000 years, and it's like after a while.
That was the first draft, man. That was the first draft. I tell you, I just was like, maybe we can just start the show at 5 and it will finish at 11, and that's fine. It's a super show, and then everyone with half a brain just went, no, you can't. And I was like, after like the 10th person said this is a terrible idea, I kind of went, okay, fair enough. All right, this is a terrible idea.
Oh, jeez. All right, so it's Friday, the 23rd of February. If you're in town, if you're in Perth to go and see Elimination Chamber, go and check out the EPW Australian Super Show. It is the best of Australian wrestling. It's at the Willetton Stadium. Get your tickets from moshtix.com. Doors will open at 6 p.m. The show starts at 7. Again, on the card, you got Delta versus Michael Morleone. You got the Untouchables Velocities. You got the Rumble Madness. You got so much more. It is an absolutely packed card of Australian wrestling. It's like Australian wrestling's in one of those things where before COVID, we're going, this is like, we're about to hit a peak and it's going to be fucking amazing Australian wrestling. Then COVID happens. We're like, oh, guess that's not going to happen. We've come back from that. It's taken about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And now I think we're in that spot again where like everyone's ready to go. Like you look at every state and there's people that are guns in every state that are just waiting to break out.
Legit. Absolutely. And I think that was COVID did come, I think, as wrestling was hitting its peak, so from the live show perspective. But these guys, even though they weren't wrestling, they didn't stop. They just kept getting better, which is just a testament to them, to everyone really in the country. Everyone
there are some guys like there are some guys from me up here in Queensland. One of the guys that I manage, Mitch Ryder, during COVID, bought a ring so he could put it in a shed and just do drills.
Yeah. It's madness,
guys that are that dedicated. You just got to take your hat off to.
Absolutely, we during COVID, we ended up Slater and Farley and Stormy and Marcus, and they did Don. They kept training going, and we did it pure fully online. And it was incredible. The buy-in from everyone. We didn't hear. Obviously, because there was a huge risk to our company. We had training schools that we had to be paying rent on. The government did put some subsidies, luckily, but it was they kept the training going online, and people bought in and they did it, and they kept going, they kept driving, and it's just awesome. I'll always be in debt to these guys that kept the company going during that time. Because it was a real could have been the end of us, and I assume the same for a lot of companies around Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. There were a lot of, and there were some that folded and didn't look like they were coming. Like for us up here, for Pro Wrestling League, we were Australian Wrestling League just before COVID hit, and then it pretty much they were pretty much done, and just we were really lucky that they decided to fire up again once everything got cleared. Because I don't know about you guys, but you guys had it fairly strict as well, for lockdowns and all that sort of thing. Like we would start up, okay, we can start moving forward again, and then all of a sudden everything shuts down again. I guess not. I know for a fact, because I was at the time I was helping book like Pro Wrestling League, and we'd plan a show because we look like we're going to be out of lockdown at this time, and then the time it happened, and all right, that show's not happening. Let's plan another show. It's just like, how about we just don't until it opens up again, and we see how we go. Because it was. It's breaking my heart.
It was tough. Oh man, it was tough. You know, it broke us. Well, it didn't break us, but it pushed us to our limit. You know, certainly it was a tough hurdle to overcome. I'm actually really proud of us for as a company, not just us, but like I said, these guys like Stormy and Marcus and Slater and Don who kept things ticking over. You know, and it's just brilliant. You know, it really was. And then having to pull these shows out of our ass with 3 weeks' notice because a venue would pop up and say, "Hey, we've got this venue." We just have to go, okay, well, let's just give it a go. You know, why not?
Yeah.
But anyway, it was cool. It was in the rearview mirror. But anyway, that's all in the past now. So we're looking at Friday.
That's right. Friday's going to be a massive.
Yeah,
it's going to be an absolutely massive weekend for us at Wrestle Radio Australia. We got WrestleBrania the day of Elimination Chamber. It's the world's only wrestling comedy game show. Will be at Linnet's Lounge, Northbridge, Saturday, February 24th at 2:30 p.m. Finished in plenty of time for you guys to be able to get to the Elimination Chamber. It's our very own Jeff Setti alongside Bro Zavard, Brent Welsh, with EPW's Damian Slater, David Storm, and Jesse Lambert, and Hit FM's Alan Aldworth, comedian Luke Boland, and Australian Survivors Dirty Harry Hills, and guest referee Robbie Eagles. It's the perfect curtain raiser for Elimination Chamber, and every ticket purchased has 5 chances to win a copy of WWE 2K4, courtesy of 2K. Get your tickets now at tinyurl.com/WrestleBrania Perth. And then on Sunday, the day after Elimination Chamber, head on down to the Dutch Trading Company in East Victoria Park for a debrief about what happened on the big show and its WrestleMania implications, as WrestleBrania presents Wrestle Radio Australia and On the Turnbuckle, 2 of the best wrestling podcasts in Australia, getting together for the show. We've got Jeff, we've got Lachlan, we've got Welshie, and we've also got Lyle from the 2 shows. We'll be sitting down and talking with some special guests. Plus, Brucha Libre Brewing Co. have TMDK Young Punk's Pacific Rice Lager jugs for sale at discount prices. All tickets for that show are $15. So get set and get those early because they will sell out, because it's not a very big venue from what I've been told. You can get your tickets there at tinyurl.com/WRAXOTT. So get around those guys and support that, because again, we support the industry. Please help us support us supporting the industry.
Yeah.
Go on Friday and check out EPW. Go on Saturday and check out WrestleBrania. Then go to Elimination Chamber. Fight off your hangover by going to WRA and On the Turnbuckle. Have a couple of beers and talk about what you saw the night before.
Absolutely.
Bob, thanks so much for joining us, mate. Thanks for answering the tough question, because I knew, like, it was one of those things where it came up, and I said, like, for guys that don't know, I messaged Stormy. I was like, look, mate, I originally had a guest for this week and it kind of fell through. And I was like, look, I don't have a guest this week. If you guys want to come on and talk about the show and we could talk about things, but I have to tell you, I'm going to have to ask this question because it's what's going on as well. So can you find me someone who can answer this question without getting us all in trouble?
I tell you what, 15 years ago, I would not have been that guy. But anyway.
Funnily enough, because I was talking to Rocky today, and he's like, you're going to have fun with Bob. I'm like, what?
No, I've grown a little bit maturity, I suppose, as I've gotten older. But hey, like, anyway, that's another story for another day. Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining me, mate. Again, get around to it's Moshtix, isn't it? Because it's 1,000.
That's the one. Yep. Just
Moshtix.com
Yep.
for your tickets to the Australian Super Show. Thank you so much for joining us. That is this episode of Wrestle Radio Australia in the books. You can follow us at Wrestle Radio AU on all your socials. Also, we're on like YouTube channel. Check us out there. It's where this thing is streaming. We stream on Twitch. We stream on YouTube. We stream on Facebook every week. Next week, we'll be coming back with probably a debrief about what happened at Elimination Chamber. And I do believe that the Jeff is set up interviews with a few WWE superstars. So we're going to be talking to those as well. And we'll find out all about that. So until then, for my good mate Bob here, this is Todd Eastman. We will see you next week on Wrestle Radio Australia. Go and check out everything in Perth this weekend, guys.
Enjoy it. Absolutely. Have fun.
Finally, WrestleBrania has come back to Perth. WrestleBrania and EPW present the Perfect Elimination Chamber pre-show with host and general manager Jeff Setti.
Let's get ready to Brania!
The series has come and gone. There's that one moment, the one big moment, the big return, the return everyone's talking about. Our truth is back.
Field Captain Welchie.
I got a question for the face team. Was there a 2-for-1 sale at Lowe's?
Babyface Captain Alan Aldworth.
No deal. Andrew Page. Jesus.
Davis Storm. Comedian Bruce Savard.
It's great. The explanationist apparently shops at Miller's.
Dirty Harry Hills.
How are you, Harry?
I think if we lost this, it'd kill me.
Comedian Luke Boland.
I took on 10 men and had my hand raised as the reigning hardcore champion.
Jesse Lambert. Damian Slater.
It's a series of games about wrestling.
WrestleBrania, the world's only wrestling comedy game show. Suck good shit. WrestleBrania will finish with plenty of time to get to the stadium for Elimination Chamber. Live at Linnet's Lounge. Tickets on sale now through OzTix.